Okay, thank you everybody for choosing to download and listen to a Global from Asia podcast. We are in for a treat today. Can Chan, we met at the Canton Fair last year, the last real in-person Canton Fair. So I'm really happy
Yeah,
we got to meet there. Thanks for coming on today.
thank you for the invitation. I
Yeah,
think you're now in, in the northeast part of China, and I'm at the south part of China, like 3,000 kilometers away.
yeah. I'm up in Dongbei with my wife's home.
Yeah, Bombay,
And
yeah.
we were joking before the show recorded. I never thought I would be in my wife's hometown more than like 1 week, for Chinese New Year or some family event. But now I'm at least this year is here for now. So, and you're down in Guangzhou, right? It's so hot. It's middle of the summer, so you're really hot. It's I hope you have air conditioning.
Yeah, like 35 degrees centigrade.
Yeah. The south of China is always like that. Is that your hometown or is that where you're from?
Yeah. I was born in Guangzhou, which you also call it Canton. So
Yeah.
I'm in the place of Canton Fair.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's 2020, it's the middle of 2020, so we're talking about what's been happening in the last decade. We're, halfway through the first year of the next decade, 2020. So we're learning a lot, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show today. Do you want to just give us a brief introduction about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Ken Chen. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of uh, uh, influencer on the cross-border e-commerce. I have a seller community with about 100,000 members, and I'm also a consultant for some top sellers in China, which are like nine figure stores. I write articles. Actually, I write articles every day to share my experience of tactics to sellers here. Yeah, mainly most of my audience are from like China, United States. Some of them are from the Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's really great. So how did you get into this whole cross-border e-commerce and the trade space?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I was born in Guangzhou. Yeah, so when I was in college, I'm actually a translator for the Canton Fair.
Yeah,
I help global buyers to source from the fair and all five products from the factory. So this is how I get into the global trading industry. And then in like 2012, and my partner and I started the business in e-commerce. We sell things through Taobao. I'm not
yeah,
sure you even know that. Yeah, the biggest
yeah,
e-commerce portal in China. And we also sell things through eBay. Then in like 2015, we started our FBA business. Yeah, so this is how I started my cross-border e-commerce.
it's great, man. It's really great. Yeah, I mean, Taobao is kind of like the eBay, more eBay than Amazon, right? And then I guess JD or Tmall is usually more like Amazon, right? More B2C, where Taobao is more C2C, right? Like eBay is like
Yeah.
individual.
Yeah. Taobao started from C2C, but now many B also open their launch their stores on Taobao. So Taobao is a mix B2C, C2C. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I mean, I started selling on eBay too a long time ago, and yeah, basically, it's bees can sell on it, but I think they both have similar history, Taobao and eBay, but um, it's awesome. I know, like, yeah, especially living in Guangzhou, there's like the center, of course, Canton Fair, but also these factories and markets, right? There's so many markets there for trading and wholesale markets and other things, which gives you a lot of different um, products. So maybe share about the early stages of the story. You had a partner and you were, like you said just now, early in this whole seller world and in community. Do you want to give us some more insights?
Yeah. we are for the Amazon selling. Actually, we are the early birds in China, because the Amazon global selling started in China. I think it's from like 2013 to 2015. Yeah. The global selling in China is not as early as in the United States.
Yeah.
So we are kind of early birds. We work with some very early Amazon sellers, and then we did well at that time. Yeah, because you see, we in Guangzhou, it's the heart of the Pearl River Delta. Yeah, we can find product easily from apparel or electronics. We just list these things on Amazon or eBay. We can get sales there. So we can have a very good summary of these selling skills. We share something to our friends, and also since like 2016-17, I started to write some articles.
Yeah.
Partly for making friends, yeah. Partly for I also want to get some experience from other sellers, yeah. So I started to write these articles on the we call WeChat official accounts.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like a blogger on Facebook. You also write articles on the WeChat official account, so you can explain it better. It's like kind of something about like the Facebook. So I gradually write articles there and get my audience. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, WeChat, as in China, the blogs have not, they used to be popular a long time ago, but I think now everything is on WeChat. So yeah, you can, official accounts like a Facebook page, kind of. And yeah, you can write long form article, you can have video or audio. Yeah, this show will be on, we put this podcast also on the official account. So of WeChat. So people can, maybe some people watching it right now on the WeChat official account. But yeah, I mean, in the West, we're more blog, websites. Of course, we have Facebook and Facebook Live, and there's all these YouTube and everything. But yeah, I think we're similar, you and I. I think we like to share our knowledge, share with people, and in community building. So it's really cool to have you join us on this show. And so it goes to my next point. You know, I even asked you if it's okay to put it in the title or not. You know, I don't know if I really like Chinese seller, foreign seller, but it's true, right? They're different. I mean, not just because they're Chinese or foreigners, but I think that the strategies are different, right? I mean, would you say?
Chinese seller and foreign sellers, I would call them global sellers, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, global.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, I'll use global seller.
Yeah, they are different. I think there are two main different points. In China, we get products more easily. Yeah, and so we can try to test different products in a very broad level. Unlike global sellers, you usually will pick products very carefully and just choose some of them. Yeah, a few of them to try to launch, maybe 3 or 5 to launch to test the market to see how it works. But in China, maybe we can test maybe tens or even hundreds of products at the same time.
Yes,
yeah, because we are very close to products.
Yeah,
we are in source of products. We can visit factories very easy. So this is the main advantage, I think, at the beginning of the industry. Yeah, we are very close to products. Chinese sellers are more closer to product, but they're far from the customers, the real customers. So here, at the beginning of the selling, Chinese sellers are mainly selling the products, but global sellers are always trying to selling as a brand. You see, brand has more value and has a better price than the products. So now Chinese sellers are trying to develop themselves to try to get the value from the brand. Yeah, they're still trying, but then as they're not, they're still learning the culture, the experience, and what the true need from the customers. Still learning, but they're trying to a little bit closer to a brand.
Yeah.
And the second part is like here, because China has its own e-commerce industry, like Taobao, like JD. Yeah, you know that. So people here, they develop the IT technology, information technology very fast. They're trying to use the technology to get more advantage to drive their sales. I'm not sure if you agree, but here, because there are more information technology stuff, they're trying to use this kind of technology to help them on the business. Either it could be a white hat, or maybe it's a gray hat, or even black hat. Yeah. So you can see, more about this color hat discussion here in China.
Yeah, Chinese I used to do blue hat. I called it blue hat back with websites. You have a lot of different websites, but I like what you say. It's a good point. I think what you mean, or maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I think like Chinese sellers are much more data driven, whereas I think global sellers, because they're more talking to the customer or feeling the brand, of course, I think everybody uses data, but they're not as data driven as Chinese seller, I think is what you mean, right? Like Chinese look at data. Like, yeah, I would agree. A lot of Chinese sellers, they look at the volume, the competitor, they look at the number, their pure number, their pure number. They don't care about the product so much, I mean, as I learned that myself when I was in China. Like, I would be more caring about the product and a feeling like emotion with the product. I kind of like to say a seller should know the product, but I think I think that's why China sellers are maybe better, because they're not emotionally connected to the product. They just sell what sells good by the data, right? I think I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think that's what you mean.
Yeah, this is data is a very important part. Yeah, I think it's good because for example, just take an example, some like the package of a product. I think global sellers have more ideas on the designs to make it good, make it looking more attractive, make it like more functional, more user friendly to clients, shoppers, because they know how shoppers use the products, right? But in China, maybe we cannot do as good design as this, but we will track all data for such kind of a niche, and then we will find the good one or find the combination of which function can work well together. Then we will develop a new niche to do this a product with a combination of such functions and launch it to test the market. And then when it goes good, we will ask the factory to tailor-make such a product to deliver to continue selling.
Yeah. I would agree with that for sure. So my question is, would you say you learned, I guess you have a unique ability because you're Chinese, you of course speak Chinese, your English is obviously good, you're doing great on this show, and you work with the interpreting with Canton Fair. So you kind of know both sides. Would you say you've learned from Chinese or global sellers or both? I guess you've learned from both, but do you want to share maybe what your experiences are from both sides of learning and experience?
Yeah, I did learn from both sides. Yeah, as I mentioned, we are very early birds of Amazon sellers. So I have some friends who now actually have been going very big. So they top sellers in China, like 8-figure, 9-figure. I regularly would talk with them to get some new information or some new tactics or strategies from them. This is very helpful for me. Yeah, and for some specific problems, I also get consulting for my friends from Europe and from the United States. Yeah, because you are in the market, you are at the front gear of the market. Yeah, you know about the law, know about the tax, know about the local customers. Yeah, so I will get a lot of insight from my friends globally. Yeah, so both sides.
Great. Yeah, it's a very good advantage to understand both sides for sure. So like we're in 2020 now, and it's been a long time. You said 2012, 2015, the world has changed, the e-commerce world has changed. Like what was working then that's maybe not working now? I think there's quite a few things, or what would you say?
Yeah, and there is a business model here in China we call it distribution model, or you can call it like pure distribution model. Yeah, you don't have to really find a product very carefully. You don't really have to do the listing polishing or send the product to the FBA warehouse or some local warehouse in the state or in EU. You just ask your employees, deploying them to collect all the data, pictures, wordings, everything from the suppliers or just from the 1688.com. I'm not sure you know this.
Yeah, Alibaba.
Just copy the information there and then put it on listing. You just list it by information to list it on Amazon by FBM, right? FBM, and then list it on eBay. And when you see any of these products get orders, you just launch like hundreds of SKUs in just a month or even thousands. You list them, and when you see any SKUs are getting orders, you send from China directly to shoppers door to door. This works before, not just from some smaller sellers and even some like 8-figure sellers are doing these tactics. Yeah, because they are very close to the factory or very close to some warehouse. They do this very efficiently. Yeah, so it takes days to from China to shoppers. But now in 2020, the logistics situation is really poor.
Yeah, tell me about it.
UPS, very poor. So they can't use these tactics anymore. And I think now shoppers in US or in Europe, they can hardly find something in FBM and in very low price products. Now they can hardly find such products.
Mm-hmm.
Because this pure distribution model are not working this year.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. I mean, even AliExpress, I tried to buy something. I got a dropship order on one of my sites, and they don't ship. They're out of stock. They don't want to ship the product. It's really a pain in the butt right now. Yeah, it's I would almost call it like spraying. You're spraying the market, right? You're just putting lots of product out there. It's kind of a good idea. Like, I've done that too with times with drop shipping or just listing out products. And then when you get a customer, you get it from the market, or you get it from AliExpress, or you get it from the factory, or you have your sources. So you're seeing what works, and then you're investing in what works later. Like, you don't always do it that way, right? But if it works well. But yeah, that's definitely dangerous now. Like you said, like shipping rates have just been keep going higher and higher, like longer wait times, angry customer. So yeah, like I literally just refunded that customer like right before this interview. So yeah, like
many returns, right? Many returns. They a long delay and they don't want the products.
Yeah, then they don't want it, but it's already shipped. You already paid for it. Yeah, then there's a chargeback. It's just horrible. Yeah, it's horrible. So it's not it was always kind of risky anyway, but now it's like suicide, right? It's really just too dangerous to do that now, for sure. And yeah, so yeah, big sellers, small sellers, everybody used to do it, but yeah, you're seeing it too, right? A lot of people stopped doing that kind of drop shipping or FBM model, or shipping from China. Yeah, it's just too difficult now. What would you say is working, or some good things that are happening nowadays?
I think there are many new opportunities this year. Yeah, even it's tough. Yeah, even it's a tough year, but it still generate many more new opportunities. Like I mean, if you are in some product in some category that for the virus period, you get a lot of boosts. Yeah, even now I know some very big sellers in the United States. They are American now, right? They're still selling like masks at a price because now Facebook are open for the non-medical mask advertising posting, so they can post some advertising. Yeah. And because as I can see, there are now more than 2 million new cases in United States, right?
Yeah, it's really sad. It's really crazy, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and every day there could be like 40,000 more. So some some medical related or some virus related items now are still in a strong demand, and some sellers the local sellers or some Chinese sellers are trying to sell these kind of things. Not just masks, but I mean, you can find something like related. Yeah, it's in a very strong demand. And the second thing is the home supply items. One of my friends, he is selling like 1 billion Chinese yuan last year, and
Well,
this year he is selling like he told me that every month like 80% to 100% growth
wow.
since March. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's
most of
true.
most of their products are home supply related things, all kind of like home furniture, the home working, small items, some
Yeah,
small kitchen electronic products. People buying those things a lot.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because
They're-
they spend more time at home.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, yeah, I've read some article and I've been on some other webinars, and they say it's like I forgot the keyword, but it's basically people are having more house parties, or people are stuck home. They can't go to restaurants, they can't travel, so they spend money on their interior design, their really comfortable living, for which makes sense, right? I mean, um, and they can't buy at stores, so they have to buy online. Yeah, so it's just been great. Yeah, e-commerce has gone really insane the last few months. So I'm really happy for our seller communities. There are a lot of them doing really well. If they're, of course, has to be the right category. I know that if you're in travel or you're in certain categories, you're maybe not doing so well. But I hope people tuning in today are doing better with their categories.
Yeah, I think the fashion category is dying.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can't go to party. Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't have much time with your friends. Yeah.
I'm not wearing pants right now, man. I just have to wear a shirt. That's a joke.
Yeah, yeah, this is okay.
There's a thing that they say that people are not they're buying just really cheap pants because it just needs a nice shirt, right? Nobody sees your pants, so people I read some articles that said, you know, that the pant sales are dropped, but the shirt sales have gone up. So
Okay.
it is.
I even noticed that even Nike get a bad loss during the first quarter of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nike.
Yeah, I'm sure because you can't really play basketball or go running as much, and their sports. Of course, they have other kind of product, but yeah, let's hope people tuning in are doing on the right side of that the line. There's the good side and the not so good side. Um, I think a lot of people always ask about tools, right? Like what tools are good, and you know, then there's global sellers. I'm gonna use that word, global now. Global sellers and Chinese sellers. Of course, Chinese mostly use Chinese. Do they use Chinese tools, I guess, or do they use English language tools? I mean, I guess they can read English, so they can use English tools. I remember even some Chinese sellers say they like to use Western tools more because they feel safer. I don't know if you agree with that
Yeah,
or not.
I think it depends on the niche or on the certain niche of all the functions. Yeah, all the countries. Yeah, for example, I think Keepa is a really good tool for the price checking, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's I think it's from Europe. Keepa is a company
Mhm.
from Europe. I think. Yeah, we rely on this tool for the price or the and the review checking and the rank checking for the competitors and for some certain ASINs. And we also use like landing cube. I'm not sure if you use this. Is
Yeah,
for the landing page.
I know the founder. I know the guy. He's
Oh, really?
David. Yeah, he's in Southeast Asia, but he's European. He's a really nice guy. He's like he's been
Yeah,
on the show a long time ago, actually.
yeah. It focuses on one function, but it's really good for this function. So many people, my team, some of my friends are using the landing cube to build a landing page for
Yeah.
you see to for reviews or for some deals. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
and
really, I recommend it too. It's a simple way to make landing pages for coupons, right? And it has easy way to do the countdown timers and the pixel collecting, email collecting, yeah, integration with all the different email tools. And yeah, I mean, it's a great product. He's worked so hard. I'm really happy for him on that, and I definitely recommend that. Um, so, but you, yeah, I mean, is there other, you
Yeah,
know,
and let's read from Oracle. I'm not sure you know this this software. It's a bigger software.
I've
Yeah,
heard of it, but I can't say I've used it, to be honest. So,
yeah. If you want to do some global accounting booking, yeah, because now many Chinese software they do not contain the function like some local text of or local booking. But the NetSuite, it has such a function. So if you are going bigger, you want to deal with the different text of different countries, I think NetSuite of Oracle is a good option. Yeah. And for us, to do some local accounting or supply chain management, we'll use a Chinese software called Shengtu.
hmm
Shengtu, yeah, Shengtu, you can use it for booking, and even to check the bonus of it, or to set the bonus rule for each employees, because it can sort the some financial data from products, from stores, or from other criteria. So you can easily to set the target for different employees and give out bonus in a reasonable way.
it's great. Yeah, I know. I learned from my Chinese seller friends KPI, right? You have KPIs, get your team on KPIs so you can motivate them and measure the performance of the team, which Chinese are, I don't know. I don't know many Westerners that are so good at KPI and the data and the reports and yeah, I've learned that from Chinese for sure to KPI.
Yeah. You here, as a seller, actually, you always have a position. We will sometimes we call them a store manager, or sometimes we call them as a sales manager, or in some company they call as like an operation manager. All of this position they have in common that they are responsible for the profit or the selling revenue of certain stores or of the company. So their bonus are very connected to how much they can earn for the company.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And how can you make this as a very concrete data and as a concise data? You rely on some software. Like right here, we may use some Shengtu, and there is another software called Asian King. I'm not sure if you know that. Asian King is a software dedicated to Amazon, but it mainly used in China.
Okay. I'm just taking notes for some of these, even for me, but I'll put it on a website for those that want to check it out. Okay. Um, so of course, what you mentioned some are Chinese, some are Western. I guess what do you think is I guess some sellers are afraid to use Chinese tools, like they're afraid the data is it safe, is there other sellers that are looking at the data or even Western tools, like they think there's big sellers that, might see the data. Is there any discussions about that? I haven't talked to my friends about that lately, but I know that was always a concern.
I think it's still good because this just I think it's you should find a service provider or the founder. They don't do the business as you say. They should be very concentrated on this service, on this certain function, or on this software. And you can find you don't trust a founder or a company that they are doing the software and at the same time they are also doing the business, like they're also selling things through Amazon.
Mm,
Then they will use your data, right? But if they're concentrating on such a service or on such a software, I think you can trust them because it is not very sensitive data.
got it.
And
Okay.
no personal data, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. This has been great, man. Thanks again. So let's talk about, the trends. I think we've kind of covered it, but we're getting towards the end of today's show. We're going to also have some encore session, special mastermind we can talk about after. But what do what is the trend you're seeing? I mean, you're right in the middle of it. I'm glad we're connected today and share some notes. But what are you seeing in your community and your all your articles? What's the future?
Yeah, I can point out maybe like two of the very key things of the trend. Yeah,
Sure.
one is I think everyone would see this as videos now are playing a more and more important roles in our e-commerce. Just take Amazon, yeah, as an example. Now, in a very common Amazon listing, you can see there is a video in the main image part, and there is a video in the A plus section. There is a video that could be in the there is a section called related video.
Yeah.
And even in the reviews, you will encourage your shoppers to release a review with video.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so video now is very, very important. And now in China and in globally, there is a fever of the short format video, which is like a less than 1 minute short format video. TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok, yeah, TikTok is now the most downloaded apps in the first quarter of 2020. More than anything like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, more than that. TikTok is the most downloaded apps globally. Yeah, because I think people now staying at home, they will just exploring all small format videos there. Yeah, this is data from like App Annie. Yeah, and it shows this data. So not this trends happening in China and happening in Europe, happening in the United States and in the Southeast Asia. And another thing is about the live streaming. Yeah, live streaming is really, really hot in China and the Southeast Asia. You're in China now. I'm not sure if you want to watch a live stream host called Li Jiaqi or another live stream host called Wei Ya.
Okay.
Every night in their live stream section, they will have like 10 million audience online at the same time, watching how they promote new products, how they're checking with other people. And this also happening in Southeast Asia. Live streaming in Southeast Asia is also very hot. And now Amazon is also putting more and more efforts and resources on its own live streaming function called Amazon Live. I think this is a very, very big trend. We are also live streaming now, right?
Yeah, this is dangerous to do live for us because the internet, man, we even had tissues. But yeah, I mean, honestly, we're doing video version. I mean, I still prefer audio, but we do video as much as we can now too for this. But I'm trying to stay cool. But yeah, video, yeah, live streaming. But live streaming is still not, or maybe I'm not following, but Amazon Live and the Live in the West still isn't so popular. Like I even was doing some PPE a couple months ago with LoadPipe startup platform I was making. We tried to do live. People weren't interested. They just wanted to read the product. Maybe they watched some of the video, but I feel like foreigners are not as into live, or maybe they're just behind the China's first now. Like people, like TikTok was in China first. Maybe it'll come later, but I still don't. Maybe I don't follow it. But is live working in Amazon now? I mean, I know they're trying to do it. I don't know if people are really doing it. Are they? I mean, are people selling with Amazon Live?
Yeah, more and more sellers are taking advantage of this function. Like even the top seller in China, Anchor Direct. You know this store. Yeah, it's the number 2 store in the United States Amazon, and now it's taking advantage this section and it's making live like once per week.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. And I think another big trend is about the closer collaboration with Chinese and the global. And because I mentioned before, now China is not just the world factory. It also now there are more and more. It's home to e-commerce talents. I can tell that e-commerce talent, because here in China, I think there are courses, face-to-face courses, online courses every week for e-commerce entrepreneurs and their employees. There are many training, many courses. So talents here, e-commerce talent, cross-border e-commerce talent are more and more here. I think a lot more, at least a lot more than talents in United States and or in Europe. Yeah. So global sellers can take advantage of the people here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they may hire the operation team here, or they may have some like collaboration here to help them to operate their stores. I think at an affordable price.
Okay.
Yeah, because yeah, this is a resource. Because here, I think it's kind of like word office, word
True.
office on e-commerce.
Yeah. Yeah.
Labor cost is relatively lower here in China. You know that higher in Guangzhou, Shenzhen, even in Shenzhen with the highest salary, but still it's not as high as those in like in London or in New York or in the Silicon Valley. They are still lower, but they
True.
can generate the profit here because they are very familiar and they are well trained. They got a lot of experience here. And I can see now more and more sellers in the States, now they have their team in China, not just for supply chain, also for the operations.
Interesting. Interesting, man. I want to learn more about that too. I mean, I don't want to say it, but I mean, I know some global sellers are afraid of Chinese sellers. I think you might understand that. I heard even some of my Chinese seller friends are afraid of other Chinese sellers. You know, I don't want to offend, you or Chinese people, but I think
Yeah.
you can understand a lot of people have bad experiences with competitors that are Chinese sellers in Amazon, right? I mean, I know
Yeah,
that
I
what's that?
yeah, there are good sellers. There are also bad sellers because
Yeah,
there are many sellers here,
there's just so
and some
many
sellers.
sellers. Yeah, there's so many sellers that, of course, with there being so many, there's obviously has to be some bad. Um, but yeah, I know, like, I I think it would be great. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Chinese sellers have learned so much. I mean, we do events, in China, like, and a lot of times the Chinese sellers say they know more now than the global sellers. When I remember when I was here a long time ago, Chinese sellers were trying to learn from global sellers, but now it's like the other way around, right?
Yeah, because there are more courses and more training, more workshops here. Yeah,
Yeah.
people are eager to learn more.
Yeah, yeah. So it goes to my last point is we're gonna do like a special encore of today's session for those that are interested to what Ken has talked about. We're gonna do a special like a online Zoom, live Zoom, and record it so you can be there for the session. It'll be multiple hours. I mean, can you share about some of your knowledge or your content that you have?
Yes, and because as I mentioned, I work with a lot of top sellers. Yeah, so actually, for this specific time, we can talk about some very good trends on the ongoing next half of the year or even in the next year.
Yep.
Some product trends, some tactics, and some good practice from the top sellers, and also we can share some experience now. What is the latest things that people are doing? Like not just in product and also in some organization structure, or some even we just talk about how people here are using the KPI and
Yeah,
bonus
the
to manage
KPI would be a
their
good one. I
members.
think. I think that
Yeah,
the global sellers could learn a lot from that.
yeah,
Awesome.
to help
So
people globally to scale up their business.
yeah, so I'll be there with you, and we'll share more links. I'll have a specific landing page that people could read about for the full date and time and a price. So it would be great to have some people today join us for that. And yeah, it's like we're about halfway through the year, fourth quarter. I guess that's true. Like, what do you think about fourth quarter? I guess it's been a great year. The last few months has been really amazing for most. I mean, most categories, not most certain categories, but what do you think about fourth quarter? I guess it's going to be even better than ever.
Yeah, I believe the Black Friday and even Cyber Monday, Christmas will be the record-beating sales this year because people now they can hardly buy things through the offline
So
stores, the retail stores. Yeah,
true.
they're accustomed to buy things online.
Okay. Awesome, man. So yeah, thanks again for sharing. Is there other ways? I know you have your official account. Is there ways people could find you? We could put it up on the show notes. I could put
Yeah,
it.
uh, Yeah, you can just maybe you can find my Facebook profile like Ken Chen. Yeah, I show here KCAN space CHAN. This is my Facebook account. Or yeah, my WeChat ID is Ken Chen 100 CANCHAN 100. Yeah, you
Okay.
can add me on my Facebook profile Ken Chen or my WeChat ID CANCHAN 100.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, great. Thanks so much for sharing, buddy. I look forward to our mastermind session with some people. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.